All right, so welcome back, and it's time for us to go into what the papers are reporting this morning. Now, I still have with me the Daily Guide newspaper. I have the Ghanaian Times. I have the Finder, the Ghanaian Publisher, the Custodian, and the Daily Analyst. These are the papers we have this morning, and we've been joined by political science analyst. He is also the director for the Center for International Studies at the University of Ghana, Legon, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. He joins me via Zoom. Doc, good morning, and it's an honor to have you this morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you? Long time.
Yeah, I'm around, you know. Doc, let's go into the paper. But just before, the finance minister is to present the budget in Parliament today. As a Ghanaian, what are your expectations, or is your expectation?
Yeah, before we do, just a quick correction. You did address me as the head of international relations or so. No, Director, Center for European Studies. But this is just an aside.
Oh, okay.
We can move on.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I expect this budget to be very modest in the sense that taxation, we are burdened over the years with taxation. And we learned under the feet of the vice president, but too much taxation become nuisance, and that he wanted to do away with nuisance taxes. Mm-hmm. Is it the case that we are seeing resurgence of nuisance taxes? I would like my vice president to respond to this and then give us something that will give us hope.
Okay, so that's Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante, the director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. We'll be touching base with him shortly. But on the front page of the Daily Guide, it says, Nana defends reparation claims. It comes with, okay. And then we have premium consular service opens in Berlin. And you can see that Kwame Preachum Sapon, traditional leaders, Gina Blay, who is the ambassador, and Nidal Kamoni officially opening the premium consular service there. Now, West Blue runs to court over 289 million Ghana cedis arrears. Okay. And digital training for 10,000 people launched. So those are the stories on the front page of the Daily Guide. Let's see what's on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper too. It says, at the Creation Africa Ghana launch, government committed to supporting creative industry to create wealth. And it comes with a photograph of the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo there. Also, government secures new funding source for general hospital construction. Okay, this would probably come as a good news to the people of La. And that story, details of it can be found on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. We'll go deep into that later. Now, so the 2024 budget growth strategy to impact youth. It comes with a picture or a photograph of the finance minister. And West Blue Ghana sues GRA over termination of 289 million cedis contract. We'll get into that. Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante is back on the line. Doc, so you were making a point when the line tripped.
Yes, as I was saying that we want a budget, economic budget that is modest to be able to address.
Okay, all right then. So the line is being unstable this morning, but we'll try and get it through. Now, the Finder newspaper, reparations demand is for justice, not a plea for arms. That's President Akufo-Addo there. Samira takes inclusion of women in climate fight to Harvard University. It comes with a picture of the second lady, Samira Baumia, speaking at the Harvard Kennedy School there. Now, Giadek and Rockshaw present MRE report to Nana Addo. Now, bauxite deposits increase in Yenahin from estimated 250 to 375 million metric tons in Block B. Obviously, great news there. But as to how we can utilize it is another discussion we need to have. But yeah, now public sector workers to enjoy up to 25% base pay rise in 2024. Community 5 land acquired in 1984, not earmarked as a football park. That according to TDC. Okay, the Ghanaian publisher, it says it also has reparations for Africa long overdue, according to President Akufo-Addo. NCCE to Ghanaians, vote against any party that spreads religious hatred. Okay, it comes with a picture of the NCCE chairperson Kathleen Adi and Kwadwo Afare. Right to Baumia Mahama, tell us your agenda for growth and prosperity. And government secures 50 million euros fund for La Hospital project, health minister. If you go into the Custodian newspaper, it says MPP vet MP aspirants. It comes with a picture of Justin Kodia Frimpong, MPP General Secretary. Call for reparations, not plea for arms. Akufo-Addo there. Then I come here in inverted commas, kills Alan's campaign strategy. Okay, what is that? When you get the paper, you can get the details there. Now, Daily Analyst says, insightful broadcast. NMC gives final warning to Onia TV. Okay, all right. Now, ADB announces 1 million cedis ultimate prize for 2023 National Best Farmer. Alan Meat CSOs, GPH's Esther JB Donko wins African Ports Award. And uncontrolled corruption suffocating Ghana. Catholic Bishops President fires. Oforiatta presents 2024 budget today. Now, so Dr. Asante is back on the line. I pray that this time the network stays.
Yeah, I hope this one it stays. So let me just quickly run through so that we can do serious business. So as I was saying, we needed a budget that will be able to address our problems, at least in a way that will bring smiles on the faces of people, and a budget that will also bring home all the companies that are on their needs now. A budget that will also take care of the election, the pre-election expenditure. That means that we want to see a lot of cuts on in terms of expenditure on the part of government. We need a whole lot of things to be able to make sure that this budget will stand the test of time. Let us remember that this is the last budget of the president. So we want him to leave something that will remain indelible in our minds in a more positive manner, so as to remember him of what his pattern gives for us as a people in terms of the budget that he bequeathed to us. But could you, I'll crave your indulgence to allow me a little space to talk about something that we do, normally you and I know on this program, where if there is a burning issue, you want to harp on it briefly, then we'll move on.
Sure.
I want to see, so if you permit me, I can go.
Why not? Yes.
Yeah. If you look at, want to look at Kennedy Japan and his role in the forthcoming campaign of Dr. Baumia, you and I are alive to the fact that Kennedy put up splendid performance, great performance, and I admire him. I admire him in the sense that he was fighting like a tiger. You know, when you look at the jungle, you realize that tigers fight individually. They don't fight in a group like lions where the pride will hunt. Tigers hunt individually, unlike lions, which will always make sure that they go with the pride to hunt for prey and the rest of them. Kennedy was a lone ranger. He fought. He came out with fantastic ideas, fantastic strategies, and then exposed the weaknesses within the MPP. And for me, he made my day with all that. And above all, his performance at the election was great. But when we're talking about the campaign for 2024, I'm afraid he cannot do much. He is going to suffer a lot of limitations. And these are the things I want to touch on. People have put their hopes in him and that Kennedy will come and change the face of the campaign. Yes, there's nothing wrong nursing that hope. But his spokesman has indicated that not all the things that roles that will be assigned to him that he will play. If you assign a certain role and it's not comfortable, he would tell you that I will not be able to do that. People have taken him on, but I think that there is a more reason why he says that, and I support him in that call. Because let's look at it. He said some of the things that he said are going to militate against his campaign, unless, of course, he wants to whitewash them, and that one will affect his image and his stand within the NPP. All right. Let's look at the fact that one of the statements he said that NPP lost the election in 2022 when the economy deteriorated, when inflation went high, when all the indicators, we got them wrong, when business community suffered a lot of cuts within their income bracket, when a lot of things really affected the economy, and then people like the middle class and all that. Having said this, what else are you going to say to change this narrative? I'm afraid it's going to be difficult. Are you going to see that now the NPP is going to win the election? They say they've lost because of a haircut and the rest of them, because of the fall in value of money for businesses and the rest of them. So it's going to be difficult. The second thing you talk about, that Bawumia will not win the election. He will win. If he will not win the election and he's at 1 now, what are you going to do?
Well, but those are political talks. I'm sure with the politicians know what they were doing. So if it comes critical, I mean, he said A, but he can still say B and defend it and justify it. So as for that, yeah, you are a political scientist, so probably you could better understand them. But
please, let us not shove it under the carpet. Okay. Otherwise, we are saying that the voters are not discerning.
Okay.
They listen to these things and then make comparisons and then interrogate the issue and come out with their verdict. Their verdict, they don't announce. They only announce it
on the election day. Anyway.
Yes.
2024 will be interesting.
They call themselves strategies. And if you are a strategist, you don't go to IMF for bailout and all that. What can change with regard to this? Can he come out to say something different that will suit, assuage the pain of Ghanaian?
Okay.
He talked about the MPP is looting the state as if there is no tomorrow. This is a big statement that cannot be shoved under the carpet. Okay. What can he do to justify this? He talked about the fact that he has gone round the 275 constituencies. The government flagship program of 1D, 1F. He cannot see much.
Okay.
What else can he say? Well, this is a government major flagship program, and that they are going to trumpet, they are going to showcase during the campaign. And this is his verdict on it. Okay. What can be changed about this? He talked about the fact that if you want to be poor, then you go into farming. He said that. And your team went there to interview, and that was the statement. This country's mainstay is on agriculture. So if you make this indictment on agriculture, how are you going to convince the electorates, officials, electorates, who a number of them are, farmers and the rest of them? It's going to be difficult.
All right.
The issue of ethnicity, that card that unfortunately he touched on. Now look at NDC, they've elected Enodna. Look at Dr. Ayariga Enodna. It will be unfair for MPP to have Enodna to lead the party. The ethnic card was unfortunately played. And I tell you, that is something that has hit the raw nerve of the ordinary man in the streets.
Okay.
Ethnicity is not a good thing to play in politics. The Bawumia team also came out with the 10 cents of Kennedy Japan. How are they also going to write these things and make him to turn a new leaf to support the campaign? It's going to be difficult. The MPP people said that he has overrated himself, Kennedy. They believe that all that he talks about, he doesn't wet that salt, and then he has just overrated himself. Can he now support the campaign effectively when he knows that he has not done so? Then the last one, he talks about the fact that Bawumia at a point in time was doing well, and then you could not blame him for the economic mishap due to Russia-Ukraine crisis, saying that all countries are on their knees. Why would Ghana be an exception? And at a point in time, taking the government on with the economic decadence that we are experiencing. That contradictory statement is always fresh in our mind, and to remind us during the election. So these are my few thoughts, and I believe that is why in the campaign I caution the MPP that, look, yes, this is intra-party campaign election.
All right, so Dr. Santi's line has jumped again. Now, if you go into the Daily Guide newspaper, page 3, the West Blue runs to court over 289 million cities arrears is detailed there. Now, the story is written by Vincent Kubi. It says, Ghanaian-owned ICT consultancy West Blue Ghana yesterday filed a suit against the Attorney General and the Ghana Revenue Authority demanding to be paid an amount of 289 million cedis, which the plaintiff described as overdue arrears from contractual work it did under the National Single Window and Integrated Risk Management System. According to West Blue, though the NSW contract is signed with the government of Ghana, categorically stated that the company would be paid free equal to 0.35% of the final invoice, CIF, cost, insurance and freight, value of import consignment entering into Ghana through the seaport, airport and land borders. It ended up being paid a fee equivalent to only 0.28% instead of the agreed percentage. The writ explained that in a series of letters dated January 25, 2018, February 4th, 2019, and March 14, 2019, respectively, the then Deputy Finance Minister, Kweku Kwating, alluded to West Blue's contract price of 0.35% and subsequently reduced the fee to 0.28% of the final invoice CIF value of all imports. West Blue explained that though the payment terms as agreed in the contract was a fixed percentage of the final invoice CIF of all imports, government since 2015 till the contract was ended in 2020 has failed to pay the full amount of the fixed percentage of the final invoice CIF value of import consignment entering Ghana through seaports, airport and land borders. The company said it is compelled to go to court as a last resort because all attempts to get the matter amicably resolved failed. It said several correspondents through 8 lawyers, Benti Enchil, Lecha and Ankuma, an African legal associate to the Ministry of Finance and the second defendant, GRA, have been unsuccessful as the defendant, without any lawful basis, have remained adamant on their position that all payment obligations owed the plaintiff, that West Blue, have been discharged. So we'll see how the case plays out in court, and it will be an interesting issue there. Now let's see. Now Nana also defends reparation claims. The story is by Charles Techibwedu. Now it says President Akufo-Addo has justified his campaign for compensation for countries affected by the effect of transatlantic slave trade, especially Africans. For him, the call by Africans and Africans in the diaspora for the payment of reparations by European nations who carried out those acts some 400 years ago is not a plea for arms, but a demand for justice. This was when he addressed the maiden edition of the Accra Reparations Conference held in the capital city. He was of the belief that the reparations for Africa and Africans are long overdue, noting that victims of other injustices in human history have rightly received reparations and that Africans deserve the same for the damage caused by the transatlantic slave trade. Dr. Sante is back. Doc, so let's look at the West Blue, which has run to court over some 289 million arrears. Now, according to the details, they agreed a 0.35% of final invoice, CIF, that's cost, insurance and freight value of import consignment, entering into Ghana through all the avenues, seaport, airport and land borders. But the government ended up paying 0.28% instead of the agreed percentage. And that's why they've run to court to demand the payment of the remainder of the agreed 0.35%. What do you make of it? Hello, Doc. Okay, we're having challenges with Doc's line. So those are the details there in the Daily Guide newspaper. Let's look at the Ghanaian Times newspaper now. And I'm sure most of you will be interested in the budget issue. The West Blue Ghana issue is also in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. But let me take you to the budget story. Now, it says the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, will today present to Parliament the 2024 budget statement and economic policy of the government. It will be the penultimate budget of the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo-led government, and first since Ghana reached an agreement with the International Monetary Fund for a $3 billion credit facility. So all of those things will play out. Now, the presentation is in pursuance of, it quotes the article that backs it. Coming in and lecturing here, the budget would be expected to focus on ensuring fiscal discipline, especially as Ghana goes to the polls, and on areas of the economy that would drive growth and demonstrate government's commitment to the IMF program. Dr. Asante is joining me now on phone. Doc, welcome back. I was asking about your thought on this West Blue, which has sued the AG and the GRA for the payment of some 289 million Ghana cedis arrears as part of an agreed contract with government, that government would pay 0.35% of the final invoice, CIF, of all import consignment entering Ghana, but government ended up paying 0.28%. That's why it's demanding the payment of the arrears. Your thought on that story? Hello, Doc. Okay, so let's continue with the stories in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. So it is expected that the budget today. Dr. Asante, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I was asking for your thoughts on this West Blue saga with government. That government owes some 289 million citizens, so they've sued the AG and the GRA for that money.
Yeah, I believe that what needs to be done, the AG, as government legal advisor, will be able to take into consideration all the things that they need to do to be able to address this problem once and for all. Okay. So I think once the issue is in the bosom of the legal system, the AG will be able to do a good job, and so that these things can be addressed once and for all.
I'm sure this one would be of interest to you. On the final newspaper, page 4, it says public sector workers to enjoy up to 25% base pay rise in 2024. The base pay on the single spine salary structure is set to increase by 23% starting January 2024, following the conclusion of 2 days of negotiations between the government and organized labor. The agreement stipulates that the 23% increment will be applicable across the board from January to June 2024, and after which it will further rise to 25% from July to December 2024. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, pay rise is a welcoming news for every worker, particularly so when we're talking about government workers. That's fine. But also there is a corresponding duty on our part to ensure productivity and make sure that there's a value for money. But that aside, we don't want to see pay rise where inflation and other economic variables will come and take what has been given to us as what increment. Then it renders the whole exercise useless. So my always advice is that government, whilst looking at pay rise and the rest of them, you also want to look at how you make sure that the economy is healthy, so that whatever you give to workers as part of the remuneration for the work that they've done, they will be able to use it effectively to develop themselves. That is the logic behind pay rise and productivity, and then healthy economy. If we are not able to strike that fine balance along these lines, I'm afraid the whole pay rise becomes useless.
Okay.
Issue.
Okay. All right, so that's it. Now, let's look at this story also written by Elvis Darko. It says the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Company, GIADEC, and Rockshore International have jointly conducted a mineral resource estimate, MRE, revealing that bauxite deposit in Yenahin Block B's 3 hills are estimated to be a minimum of 375 million metric tons. This represents almost appreciable 50% increase from historically estimated figures of around 215 million metric tons in hills 4, 5, and 6. The MRE results indicate a substantial increase in bauxite resources in the Yenahin area, validating both quantity and quality. This is good news. But what must we do to ensure that we are deriving the required benefit from this natural resource?
Yes. The famous Ali Mazrui said that Africa is the richest, yet the poorest. If you bring it down to Ghana, you realize that we are rich in natural resources. There's no doubt about that. But how effective have we made use of the resources is a problem that you and I are trying to deal with. The best way out is to ensure that the contract that we sign governing some of these things, the state benefits immensely from it. More often than not, you will see a contract written and the state gets pittance for there's so much that the state gives out. That should be looked at. Another thing is the issue of mining. We should get to a certain level where we ourselves should be able to mine and add value here. Even there is a foreigner who is going to mine, we should encourage the activity to the extent that we are able to add value, and then you don't sell the raw minerals that you take. That doesn't yield any dividend at all. And of course, we should also be looking at the intangibles that are associated with materials like this. You're selling the raw goods. People are using them to develop other things for humanity, and then they advertise your name on it that this gold is coming from country A, B, and these are the intangibles. How has the country been able to place itself in a position that we take advantage of the intangibles as something that is due us? We have for a very long time. If you look at chocolate, we've been selling cocoa. People are using it for chocolate, and they advertise, the Ghana premium cocoa. That advert alone, how much do we benefit from it? These are intangibles that can rake in a lot of resources for us. So I believe that they know more than I do. When they tie all this not together, we should be able to get something meaningful for the state.
In the value addition process, the president tasked GIADEC to ensure that the value addition processes, including refining raw bauxite into alumina, smelting alumina into aluminium, and developing the downstream industry, are conducted in Ghana with active participation from Ghanaian companies, which the Deputy Minister, George Mrekuduka, assured continuous support from the ministry towards the development of the integrated aluminium industry. So maybe we'll be seeing that the value addition will be happening in Ghana, but I'm sure that's also another discussion for another day.
I also hope and pray that the government will walk the talk. More often than not, it has been a talk show. We want to have a real practice on the ground, so as to derive the maximum benefit.
Okay. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us here on Issue You.
Always a pleasure having worked for Joy FM and making sure that we contribute our quota for the development of Ghana. I am always ready to support my country.
Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante is the director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, Legon. This is to the AM show. Up next is a sports segment, and Muftar Nabila will be bringing you details from the world of sports, because there's something on Ampem Dakwa, ladies. What is it? Stay on and hear that. Stay on.